If you want your parents to lose their trust in you, there's no better way to take than becoming a game developer. However, that road is not as easy as you think. That's why I'm here today to help you. We will be making a 3D game character using Blender and Godot, with the purpose of creating a series of videos that will help you in the 3D game development pipeline. This guide has everything to get you up to speed in just a few minutes. It's easy and quick to understand, so even the artist TikToker can follow. We will only use Blender for 3D modeling and Godot as the game engine. The character we will make is the default avatar for Mecha Chameleon. You probably have seen this game before, being played by fat-chasing content creators. This character has simple geometry and a simple silhouette, so it will be a pretty easy character to pick up. Start working. Let's get to it.
Okay, now in Blender, we set up a new cube and then we start extruding its vertices. To do this, we simply select with the cursor, we select the vertices we want to extrude, and we try to give the character its limbs. To move the vertices, we use G, and to extrude them, we use E. Now, if we want to add more dimensions to the character, we're gonna use the edge cut. The edge cut allows to give us more vertices for more editing potential. Now, here to my character, I add a modifier, a subdivision modifier. This will allow the character to deform its subdivisions, looking more like a balloon, less square-like. Now, to make it closer to the Mecha Chameleon character, add some extra slices to the wrists and to the legs. I also add more detail to the head. I try to add a bit of more dimensions on the other sides. What I'm doing here is trying to scale the vertices. To do that, I just simply select the vertices and I press S. Then I'm able to extend where I want them to be higher, longer, or shorter. On the legs, I try to create an arc where both of the legs separate, and here I'm trying to fix the guy's butt, check that everything's working correctly. I decide to revert the vertices back to 0 to have it less butt. To do that, I just simply selected the vertices and then I press the axis where I wanted to change them, in this case being C, and then I press 0. That will select all of the vertices and place them in this in a column, one before the other. Now now that the model is finished, I switch to UV editing. Right now the character doesn't have UV setup. For a quick explanation of what the UVs are, they represent how the character will look like on a 2D plane. So the goal here is to try to skin the character and place them into a 2D surface so we can easily paint later. To do this, I just select the character and I try to make seams. I select of course in edit mode, I switch from vertices to edges, and then I select the edges and I click right click and then select mark seam. This will cut the UV into the part that I want. Now here, in order to get a pretty, more like an UV that looks like the character, what I do is I just select the faces that are in front of the camera. Yeah, I select those faces and then I pin them with P. Then I select the other parts of the vertices and then I select unwrap, then I will wrap like the other one. This process takes a little bit of time. It's not something I would call enjoyable, but it's super necessary if you want to have the more time you spend on UV editing, the easier your time will be texturing the character. Now once that's done, we can spend a little bit, we can go directly to texture paint. Now here what I'm doing, I'm actually painting on the right side where the character is. I'm trying to like give him his skin of like a wall, a red brick wall that you see on the Steam page. Now you will see that's not exactly the same. That's because I have like the UVs mirrored, and you don't need to have the UVs mirrored. I just do it because it just makes the process of creating the character faster. I don't have to like spend time painting one part and painting the other one. Once the texturing is done, I switch to layout back again, and then to object mode. Here I'm going to create an armature for my character. I press Shift A, and then I add a bone. But then I thought about it, and I think it's probably easier if I just simply add a default rig. Blender has an add-on called Rigify, which is like a default rig, humanoid rig. If you go to preferences on the file, you click File, Preferences, and then on Extensions you click on Add-ons, and then you search for Rigify and you proceed on. Once we are back on the layout, you can just click Shift A and then add a humanoid Rigify model. With this, you can try to like position it where the character is. Try to organize and put the bones where the character should be. Once that's done, we apply the vertex weights. We check that the model, the bone. We check that the armature is working by spinning it around, playing with it, by switching to pose mode. And after seeing that everything is working just fine, we can finally switch to the next part, which is animation. Below we have a timeline. So what we're gonna do is we're going to go back to pose and pick a starting pose for our character. Then we're gonna select all of the bones and click I, Shift I. This will create a keyframe for the bone location. We do this for the next positions where we want the character to be. And once it's done, we click play. There we go. We now have the character working just fine. Being animated just fine. Once we have the animation that we're happy with, we're going to like set it up for importing to Godot. Now, to do this, we are gonna save the Blender file. And there are two ways of importing it into Godot. The first one is just import the Blender file as is, or exporting it as a GTB or GTL. I prefer going for the Blender file because it allows us to edit it in Godot, and then it allows us to make changes in Blender and see that happen in Godot. So what we do is we open Godot, we create a brand new project, we set up our scene, we create a primitive mesh, a CSG mesh. Then we like save back in Blender. Now that the God scene is complete in Blender, we are going to save it right where the path of Godot is. And once we do, we just simply go back to Godot, and we will see that our Blender file is there. If it's not, be sure to check the editor and have Blender import being on. Now you will see that my character imported without a texture. That's like fine. What we have to do is simply like go into the character, select its mesh, and then in geometry, and in the inspector on the right side on the inspector, look for geometry and then add a surface material. That surface material, where it says albedo, it's gonna have an option that says texture. If you import it as a GLB, you will also have an extra file that says the name of the character.png, which will allow you to like easily add the texture back to the character. Now, to make our scene prettier, we're gonna search the web for a brick wall texture. We're gonna go back to our scene, we're gonna paste it and create two instances, a mesh one for a wall and another one for the ground. We paste our texture and then we click play, and there we go. We have our character animated, looking just fine. Its animation is working, the lighting is working, and there we go. We have made a character for a game. Now there's technically not a game, but this is like the beginning of something like a 3D project, a 3D character project. From now on, now we have that. Now that we have our 3D character in Godot, we're able to make. We're able to actually start making the game. We can add more animations to our character. We can add controls, and we can start expanding this into a full-fledged game.